Hello there, Dragonfire here. It's time for another one of my letter of the alphabet reviews for music. Alright, we are on the letter L, and I wanted to throw in here an honorable mention for country music. Let's go with LeAnn Rimes. And in case this is one of the first videos that you're watching of mine, um, for the younger generation who only knows music through streaming or whatever, this is called the CD. And this is one of LeAnn Rimes' albums on CD. Um, and there you have the songs. Now, I wanted to show you guys this just because I could and I had it. This is the smaller one here is what you call a cassette tape. These were all the rage back in the 80s, and I think CDs were invented and first commercially available in the 80s. I think they were invented around 82, but they were really expensive back then. You had to buy an expensive CD player, and you had to um, buy expensive CDs. CDs like this one didn't become popular and really widely available, and people didn't really have them until the 90s. Really, in the 80s, a lot of people had cassette tapes. Of course, records were still around too, and some people used records, but records were kind of a 70s thing. They were really most popular in the 70s. In the 80s, it was cassette tapes. um, so and see there's side 1 and side 2 because they didn't fit as much as a CD, and they were a little harder to just as far as room wise goes. They didn't have as much room as the CD does. But yeah, I just wanted to show off a cassette tape. Maybe some of you have never seen one before, but this is what they look like. Put that in a cassette player, or a CD in a cassette player. I don't know. Maybe some of you think this is fun and cool. Maybe others of you just think that this makes me old. I don't care. Anyway, just had a little fun with that. Anyway, LeAnn Rimes. We could do Blue is a really cool song. Her voice reminds me a lot of Patsy Cline. And Patsy Cline had songs like Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. And LeAnn Rimes reminds me a lot of that. She did this song Blue, and it's Blue, I'm so lonesome for you. And just a lot of the notes she hits remind me very much of Patsy Cline before her, who was a great country artist of a previous generation. Okay. Staying on the country track here. How about Lady Antebellum? Really good album. Need to Know, Need You Now, and the song Need You Now is off of this album. It's the self-titled track on the album, and Need You Now is a fantastic song that I really enjoy. Let's go hair metal. This is the album Vivid from the band Living Colour. Living Colour is just a fantastic band. Their song Cult of Personality is one of the greatest songs of all time. I just love Cult of Personality. It is a really cool song. This first album especially kind of I think falls into the hair metal genre. It came out in 1988, and it's kind of the um, it's kind of a hair metal album. Living Color. I'm only going to mention this because I think it's relevant. I don't usually like to divide people based on race, but this is an all black band, which is kind of rare for a lot of rock and roll and heavy metal bands. Of course, there's Jimi Hendrix, was a great rock and roll musician back in the day, who was a black musician. And there's been others, but specifically when you get down to the hair metal genre, you didn't see a lot of all black bands. You saw some solo artists, people who were better known as solo artists in the rock and roll kind of heavy metal genre, with uh, you know I already mentioned Jimi Hendrix. There's Chuck Berry. There's Little Richard. Uh, there's Stevie Wonder. There's a number of other very talented artists. But when you get to really like hair metal, um, you know, Living Color was an exception to the rule, but they were a great band, and I think especially this first album really lands them in the hair metal genre. And the song "Cult of Personality," which is a great song, um, would later be used by CM Punk in WWE for a time as his entrance music. So that's really cool. Um, I think I'm gonna go with my bronze medal. I'm gonna give my bronze medal to Lita Ford. Um, this is Lita Ford and her album Lita. Um, it was her best known album. Um, it's got Kiss Me Deadly, Falling In and Out of Love, Under the Gun, Broken Dreams, Close My Eyes Forever, which she did as a duet with Ozzy Osbourne. Um, Lita Ford is formerly of the band The Runaways. I mentioned Joan Jett in my J review. Lita Ford and Joan Jett were both members of the band The Runaways, and I just last year went and saw Lita Ford in concert. Later on this year, I will be going to go see Joan Jett in concert. So I see two of the original five members of the Runaways in concert. I mean, those were the two. Lita Ford and Joan Jett were the two that went on to have big solo careers after the Runaways broke up. So I'm always a big fan of theirs, and it'd be awesome to see Joan Jett in concert, just like it was awesome to see Lita Ford in concert. Okay, so next up, probably going with my silver medal, is gonna go to Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is part of a 3-disc collection, a 3-disc greatest hits collection for Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is volume 1 right here. They're best known for their songs Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird. But they have a number of really good hits besides that. So they're a band that you definitely want to check out. 3 Steps, Give Me 3 Steps is another big one of theirs. Give me 3 steps, mister. 3 steps towards the door. Give me 3 steps, yeah, and you won't see me no more. Yeah. Yeah, they've got some really good stuff, and Everybody knows free bird, 'cause I'm free as a bird now. And this bird you cannot cage. And this bird you cannot cage. Anyway, yeah, Free Bird is a really good song. Leonard Skinner is a good band. Famous for their feud with Neil Young. Anyway, check out some Leonard Skinner if you're not familiar with them. And my gold medal, my number one, is gonna have to go to Led Zeppelin. I would put them more in a blues rock category, but with some heavy metal elements. And their first album did come out in '69, which was 1 year before Black Sabbath's debut album in 1970. So if anyone could contest the idea that Black Sabbath is the first heavy metal band, it might be Led Zeppelin, but I don't know that I would put them as heavy metal. I would say they have some songs that maybe cross into the heavy metal genre, but they're more like blues rock and roll. But anyway, wherever you want to classify them, they are a great band. Houses of the Holy is this album by Led Zeppelin. It's got the song Remains the Same, the Rain song, Over the Hills and Far Away, The Crunge, Dancing Days, Dry Maker, No Quarter, and The Ocean. Only 8 songs on this album, but it's still really awesome. Led Zeppelin is known for their longer songs, so they don't necessarily need as many because they're longer in length a lot of times. But Led Zeppelin, a great band. Everybody knows, Stairway to Heaven and When the Levee Breaks, Black Dog, stuff like that. So, definitely, if you don't know Led Zeppelin, listen to Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin's going to take my gold medal for the letter L. I have all of their albums. I love Led Zeppelin. So, this one it's pretty easy for me to pick first place, a gold medal for the letter L. But who do you pick for the letter L? Let me know in the comment section. Alright, God bless everybody. Dragonfire out.